Hi guys, a very good afternoon to one and all. Once again, welcome to a session from BYJU'S Exam Prep. I'm Srinivas Sir. I'm here to take you through one of the 5 sections for your CUET called logical reasoning. In fact, reasoning. Let's not use the word logical reasoning. Let's just use the word reasoning for a particular reason. Because when you're dealing with this area called reasoning, when it comes to this particular exam of CUET, this reasoning is tested. Reasoning is an ability for you or ability that they check. What is this ability? It's an ability of thinking. Okay, how well can you think? That is the ability. But this ability can be tested or checked by an examiner in multiple ways. They can use maths as a tool to test your ability to think. They can use English as a tool to test your ability to think. They can use logical puzzles itself as a direct tool to test how you think. So what we are going to talk about in this series of reasoning, so if you can see, this is part 1. We have a 2 or 3 part series lined up. So let's see how many parts will be required to complete the entire structure. So the whole idea is to help you understand what type of questions can come under this heading of reasoning, whether it's English-based reasoning or logic-based reasoning. Reasoning is still reasoning, so we're going to cover all these types of questions over here. Okay, so by now I hope all of you know the structure of the exam. We have a total of 75 questions. Basically, there are 5 parts, or rather divided into 5 areas. Your first area is general mental ability. Now, when I say first, I'm not saying this is going to come first in the order. This is one of the areas. Then you have quantitative reasoning. Then you have GK, current affairs. Then you have logical ability, and then you have numerical ability. So general mental ability, logical ability, and numerical ability. These are 3 sections which look kind of, in fact, these 2 look kind of similar. Then you have numerical ability and quantitative reasoning or quantitative ability, which again look kind of similar. So I have taken a session previously explaining the difference between these 2, but I will once again reiterate. General mental ability is where we are going to talk about your logical puzzles, number series, letter series, blood relations, those kind of things. This is your normal logic which you are used to. Quant is maths, आपका जो percentages, profit and loss, algebra, geometry, ये सब आएगा. GK तो GK है ही, I mean current affairs, static GK, all that is very straightforward. Logical ability here, we are going to talk about English-based logic in this. Okay, so this logical ability that we have in CUET talks about your English-based, so your statement assumption, statement conclusion, strengthening and weakening of arguments. So we have sessions lined up for that also. And then of course numerical ability, यहाँ पे we expect this to be a DI. DI basically is calculation based, graph based questions. एक graph देंगे आपको. They're going to ask you what's answer to questions based on the graph. Okay. Mausam is asking sitting arrangements. That arrangements could be a part of your general mental ability. That's what I'm talking about. General mental ability is basically your traditional logical questions. That's, I think they're going to call it as general mental ability. Okay, so that's what we have. They're going to be 15 questions each, and you're supposed to answer 12 out of 15. So 12 into 5 is 60. 15 into 5 is 75, so totally 75 questions, out of which you're supposed to answer 60. However, the 60 has to be split as 12, 12, 12, 12, 12. Okay? Yes, so Mausam is saying sitting arrangements karwaye na. Okay, we have that, Mausam, don't worry. Today, it's not about seating arrangement. We have a different type of logical questions coming your way today. But yes, in these series of CUET, like we have reasoning part 1, similarly we have logical ability part 1, reasoning part 2, logical ability part 2, and so on and so forth. We will cover all the syllabus for sure. So don't worry, just subscribe to our channel, hit on the like button right now so that we know that these sessions are liked by you. Especially if you have clicked on the notification button and you have subscribed to the channel, all our sessions, you will be getting the notification. So you will not miss anything. So let's move forward and take a look at what happened in the last couple of years and what is expected this year. Okay, so 2020, it was very clear, 10 questions came from verbal reasoning and 15 questions came from your non-verbal, questions asked from reasoning other than verbal reasoning, which means your traditional logic, जो आप seating arrangements बोल रहे थे, blood relations बोल रहे थे, direction sense बोल रहे थे. So those were 10 questions came from verbal reasoning. Once again, What is verbal reasoning here? It's basically the logical ability part which I discussed just previously. So here we are talking about your English usage and logic mixed. So a question which talks about statement and which of the following conclusions are correct, a statement and which of the following assumptions are correct. So these kind of questions are logic with English usage. That comes under your verbal reasoning, but the exam CUET is not calling it verbal reasoning. In my understanding, they are calling it as logical ability, because at the end of the day, logic to hai. That's what happened in 2020. In 2021, it was 8 and 22, and this year there is no confusion at all. They very clearly mentioned that 15 and 15 will come. So 15 from the verbal, that is English-based logic, which is actually logical ability as per CUET, and 15 which are non-English-based logic, like your puzzles kind of things, which will be general mental ability. Okay, so these are the sections that we are going to cover under the reasoning area. Okay. Yes, Priya, we are going to practice questions. This is not a strategy session. This is pure practice. All these sessions that we have, reasoning ke naam pe ya quant ke naam pe, the sessions which are named after a topic, they are not strategy sessions. These are pure practice sessions. Agar strategy hai, then the topic name will be including something like how to crack this particular area, or how to crack reasoning, or reasoning strategy. The sessions will be named accordingly. Right, so let's go ahead, guys, and start with the first set of questions. So please get your papers and pens out. I hope you already have them out right now. Yes, so this is the direction for questions 1 to 3. So basically, you're saying that there is a answer that completes the same relationship with the third word that is not paired. So basically, it's an analogy. Okay, analogy. Analogy का मतलब क्या है? They'll give you word number 1 and they'll put a colon होता है कि semicolon होता है ये, whatever. Let's call this as a colon or a semicolon, and you'll have a word 2. Then they'll give you double like this, and they'll give you a word number 3, and this is blank. So you have to understand how are these two related. It could be a word, it could be a number also. At the end of the day, I told you, right? What are they checking? They are checking your ability to think. That thinking ability can be used or can be checked using English or numbers, which is maths. But the logic is what they want to test. So it could be a word or it could be a number. So how are these two numbers or words related? Using that relation, you have to figure out what should be this blank filled with. If there is a word, they should be using you should be getting another word. If it is a number, you should be getting another number over here. So that's basically is what is called as analogy. So we have the first question coming your way. Very, very simple question. Here you need to understand how are the words connected over here. Instead of giving you word 1 and is to word 2, they have just given directly like this. Is to ko literally is to mein English mein convert kar diye. Okay? So that's your question. You can get the answer in about 20-25 seconds. Try it out and give me your options. Okay, Sneha says B, Mausam says D, Anusha says bacteria. Right, guys, so यहाँ पे solve करने के लिए ज़्यादा कुछ है नहीं. This is very straightforward. You don't need anything much to solve in this. You just need to understand what is the meaning of influenza. If you don't know the meaning of influenza, that's a problem. Okay, so that is where the little bit of English component comes in. Okay, the word that is being used for English, I mean, it's an English word, so you need to know the meaning of the word influenza. Influenza is nothing but flu. The normal flu, sardi, khasi, the cold and cough that you get whenever the weather changes, that's basically your influenza. So why do you get that? Virus and influenza, the flu, how are they related? The virus causes the flu. So this is the effect, this is the cause. So virus is the cause, the effect is your influenza, the flu. So typhoid is a disease. Similarly, it's a problem. But what is causing typhoid? That is what they're asking. Now you can ask me, is it a biology question? Technically, it's a biology question because you need to know what causes typhoid. Is it parasite? Is it bacteria? Is it protozoa? Is it fever? Fever is definitely not an organism. Fever is an output. What causes something will cause fever. Fever is an output, so definitely D is not your answer. Now the question is, which of these three, A, B, C, actually causes typhoid? So, ये technically आप पूछोगे मुझसे, then I will say it's a part of biology. You would have learned that, in your 7th or 8th class or 9th class basic biology when you learned the typhoid, this fever of typhoid or the disease called typhoid is caused by something called a bacteria. So the correct answer is option B. So this is GK, biology, all that mixed, but using analogy. Alright, so that's the correct answer. Okay, but again, not many questions come like this because technically this is logic hai, but logic is less compared to the knowledge of biology or knowledge of in general knowing. So this ideally should not be the kind of question that they can ask, but unfortunately yes, एक आध question ऐसे आ जाते हैं, 1 or 2 questions like this do come into the exam also. So you can't sit there and protest saying that sir logical ability se ye kam hai, it's less of logical ability but more of knowledge about biology. But yeah, if it asks, they ask. You can't do anything about it. So that's anyway, once in a while questions like this do come in. So let's move on from here. Next question, this is an easy one. Here it's, you don't need too much of knowledge here. This is basic. Give me an answer straight away to this. "30 seconds is more than enough for you to get an answer. Okay, 36 seconds are up. So once again, understand what is the relation. Menu is a list of items in a restaurant. Menu is a list of items in a restaurant. Library has books, but that is not your answer. You're not looking at what is there in library. See, what is there in restaurant? Food. But this is not food. Menu is a list of food items. Similarly, what is there in library? Books. But we don't want books, we want the list of books. And the list of books is called as a catalog. So the correct answer is option B. So Mosam, you need to understand why you thought it is A. You are only looking at library books and you are saying that is the answer. But understand, library mein books hote hain, sahi hai. But that is what they are saying. For example, restaurant has food, but this is not food, it is a list of food items. Similarly, library has books. I want an answer which is the list of book items or books. That is called as your catalog. So one important learning point for you is understand when you are looking at analogy, please read all the 4 options. Read all the 4 options carefully. Don't jump to an answer which kind of is connected. Just connected is not your reason to mark as an answer. The logic has to be the same. So book is also connected, catalog is also connected to the library. Both of them are connected, but what is the right connection? That is what you need to identify. In fact, volume is also connected, title is also connected. Title is for a book, volume is also for a book. All of them are connected to a library, but those are not your answers. Only one of them follows the correct path. Let's look at the next one. Look at this. This is a good question. Let's see how many of you give the correct answer for this. 30 seconds. Any other answers? I've got only one answer from Sneha. Okay, 30 seconds are up. Guys, dancer is to stage. So first of all, how are they connected? Dancer performs on top of a stage. Okay, so the dancer, he or she goes and performs on a stage. A preacher has to preach on top of something. Okay, that's how the relation should be. Now, if you look at assembly के ऊपर तो नहीं चढ़ेंगे ना dancer, right? So that is anyway not correct. State, obviously it is wrong, it's nowhere connected. Now, church and pulpit, preacher is a person who preaches. preacher can be in a church, but that should not be the reason why you're marking it. Look at what is it, C and D. Don't know where, look at both the options. First, you need to understand what is the meaning of a pulpit. If you don't know the meaning of pulpit, obviously you will go ahead and mark option C, which is option D, which is wrong. Pulpit is like a stage inside a church where the preacher or the bishop or the father or whomever you call stands there and talks to the people in general when they come. He preaches from there. So pulpit is a name of that place where the person stands inside the church and talks to the people. Hence, this is the correct answer, not church. Okay, had the stage been auditorium, auditorium, then preacher would have been church. Because auditorium has a stage, but inside the auditorium, you dance. Similarly, inside the church, you preach. Then church would have been the correct answer. But here, you're talking about dancing on top of a stage. So similarly, preaching standing where? On top of something. So that has to be pulpit and not church. Clear? So that's your correct answer. Okay, let's move on. Next question. So here now we are moving away. So these are called as verbal logic. It is not just logic which is enough. You need to understand the meaning of a word called pulpit also. That is where your verbal logic comes into play. Verbal area comes into play. Right? So in English, that is where English is used. So it is a mixture of English and logic also. Okay? Whereas, if you look at these kind of questions, now question number 4, it is purely a logic question because we are talking about letter to hai, theek hai, ABCD, but I will not say just because ABCD is there, it is English verbal logic. Here, it is a series of letters and you need to identify what is the pattern in the series. Okay? So let's take a look at this. Identify what is the pattern in the series given to you and therefore what should be the correct answer. Once again, this time I'll give you 60 seconds. It's a very, very simple one. 60 seconds it's quite long, but let's see how many of you can get the answer correctly. The time started. Okay, that's 1 minute. So let's see what is the logic in each of these words. So C, D, E, it is continuous, but C to D first, then D to E. G, H, then H to I. K, L, L to M. O, P, P to Q. S, T, T to U. So the logic is, first word is here, then comes the here, and then comes the middle. So which of these options is following this pattern? And you can clearly see it is WXY. So not WXY, sorry, XWY. So it is X, Y, W. So W, X, then comes here Y. So XWY option C should be your correct answer. So identifying so this is not verbal logic. This is pure logic, which is pattern recognition. Okay, so this comes under the pattern recognition form, which is normal logical ability, or rather in our CUET terms, it is called general mental ability. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so 5 to 7 are similar kind of questions. The instructions are clearly given over here. So basically you're supposed to pick up the odd one out. Okay, so there are 3 words will be of the same classification. So there is something common in 3 of the options. Fourth, one of the options will not have that commonality. Your job is to pick which of the 3 are connected. Therefore, the left out should be your answer. Okay, that's basically it's called as odd one out. So let's take a look at what or how are these questions going to come. Here's your question, or here's your first question in this odd one out. This again is verbal logic, because if you don't understand the words, you can't get the answer. But if you get the words, 30 seconds is more than enough for you. So get me the answer for this in 30 seconds. Alright, so the correct answer here is mayonnaise. Why? What is parsley? Parsley, basil and rosemary. All these are herbs. Basically, you can, I don't know, if you order a sandwich or something, you might have a basil leaf in it, or you might have a rosemary in one of the dressings that if you go to a restaurant, they put these as garnish or they put these as dressings to give some kind of a taste as well as a decoration. So these are called as green herbs. Whereas mayonnaise is not a herb. It is man-made. One other way of looking at this is these are natural. Okay, these are grown naturally. Whereas mayonnaise is man-made. It is not naturally occurring. It's a paste, mayonnaise at the end of the day. So mayonnaise is your correct answer. The first three are green herbs. That's the idea here. Once again, it comes under verbal logic in general classification, because if you don't understand the meaning of the words, you can't solve this. So verbal, that is English coupled with logic. Next question. Once again, English word-based question. Give me an answer in 30 seconds. All these are simple questions. If these questions come, you should crack and be happy about these in the exam. Okay, 30 seconds are done. Okay, I have got only one answer this time. Ria Bhatia says option C. C is not correct. Any other answers, anyone? C is not correct. The correct answer is B, flee. Let's understand why is this the correct answer. Dodge. Dodge in English means to, dodge is to duck or to jhukna, such that something is going above and it's missing you. Dodging is missing something by doing an action of ducking. So like this if I do. That's called dodge. The same thing is duck. Duck is also the same meaning. Avoid is, while it's not exactly the same meaning as bending and ducking, in English usage, avoid, dodge and duck, they can be used in terms of escaping something. Escaping is not running away. Escaping is, yeah, I'm avoiding that person. Avoiding does not mean that I'm running away from that person. Avoiding means, that guy is going there, I'm going from here. Or I can say that I am dodging that person. Dodging that person means he's trying to reach out to me, but I am deliberately not trying to, meet him. So all these can be used in one way. Whereas flee. Flee in English means running away. Running away is not exactly called as dodging or ducking or avoiding. It is basically aap bhag rahe ho. You are going away from the person. Okay. Flee is, in English, there is a slight difference between these three words and flee. That is the reason why you say flee is the correct answer. Dodge and duck are actually very similar. So in fact, they are not your answers. Now the only question could be, could it be avoid or flee? So that's the way in which you need to attack this question. Definitely A or C to answer nahi hai, because they are both similar in meaning. Now can it be flee or avoid? Now you need to think English language wise, flee means there is only one meaning, you are running away. Flee literally means running away. You are fleeing the battle, which means you are running away from the battlefield. Avoiding a battle does not mean you're running away. Avoiding a battle is, agar there is another option of not fighting itself, I'll take that option. It is not called running away from the battle. So basically you're saying that, you're trying to avoid something, or you're trying to dodge somebody, or you're trying to duck from something. All of them are trying to escape something happening. Escape where you're not physically running away. Whereas flee means you're physically running away. So that would probably be the correct answer. So therefore the answer is option B. Right? So these kind of ones are the tricky ones, right? Subtle use of English. That's where the logic is tested. Let's move on to the next question. This is again a good one. 30 seconds. Alright, so I have got only 2 correct answers, right? Right now it is 3. Very good. Riya, Anusha and Sneha. The correct answer is favorable. Let us understand why is it favorable. Now fair has 2 meanings in English, at least the 2 meanings that I know. One meaning of fair is, yes, you are fair skinned, gore, or you being light skinned. That is one meaning of fair. Another meaning of fair is being, you are being, what do you call, just, or, the other meaning is just. Which means you are not favoring somebody. You are being fair, means I am treating everybody equally. Such a thing is called as a fair treatment. Okay, so I am not being unduly favorable to somebody. See, which means I am explaining 3 things in the same in one explanation. Fair means you are not giving over importance to somebody. You are treating everybody same. Okay, that's called as fair, which is the same as just. So these 2 are similar in meaning. The third meaning is equitable. Equitable also means the same thing. You are treating everything as equal. Equitable. Whereas favorable means you are favoring somebody. Somebody is your favorite. So you are biased for or against somebody. Right? So in this case, favorable means I favor somebody. I'm giving a favor to somebody. I'm doing some extra help to somebody. It is not equal to everyone. So these 3 basically talk about being equal, whereas favorable is not equal. Hence, that is your correct answer. Impartial. That's the correct word, Sneha. Thanks for that. Impartial. Partial and impartial. So this is basically favorable means being partial. Whereas fair, just and equitable means impartial. I was actually searching for that word, Sneha. Tip of the tongue pe tha wo nahi aa raha tha. Thanks a lot for pointing it out. So that's the word I wanted to use, impartial. Okay, let's move on. Next. This is a coding decoding question, a logic based question. This is not called English anymore. Take a look at this. Try to do this in 60 seconds and see if you can get the answer. 1 minute for you to solve this. Next question, you'll have to take my video out. There's no space. Next one. Alright, so that's about a minute. So let's see what is happening. Selection, SELECTION, is coded as QCJCARGML. So basically what is happening here, you have to understand how is selection becoming this garbled or jumbled up letters. So if you observe carefully, you'll notice that Q, then R is skipped, then S. So basically the other way around. Let's look at it the other way around. If I go from S to Q, I will skip reverse R and then I'll get Q. One letter skip and go backwards. I'm going backwards. E to C, I'm skipping D. Then comes C in the reverse order. L, K is being skipped, I'll get J in the reverse order. So that is how this letter is, or these group of letters are formed. So whatever word is given to you, each letter skip one before it and write the one, so 2 letters before, one you are skipping and the next one you are writing, but in the reverse order. That's the logic. So if you want to write about Americans, okay, Americans, so A, going backwards. So now what is coming before A? A is a starting point, right? But so A se pehle kya aayega? So that is the question that you need to answer. And here, when you're dealing with coding and decoding, alphabets are always treated cyclical. So after X, Y, Z, the continuation will be A again. So it is cyclical. So what comes before A, it will be Z. What comes after Z, it will be A. That's how you're supposed to take. Which means before A is Z, Z is skipped. And before Z comes W, X, Y. So you should be starting with Y. Clearly B and C are wrong. Now look at the next one, M. Okay. Then N, L and K. Because before M comes L and before L comes your K. So your answer should start with Y and K. Here it is Y and Q, which is wrong. So therefore your option A is correct. Okay, so this is called as a coding and decoding kind of question. You need to, this is, the logic is what you need to understand. How is one word becoming the other? Once you get that logic, you have to apply the same thing again. Let's move on. Right, so here I've switched off the screen, my image, so that you can read everything clearly, and it'll also give me space to write once you solve. Big question, but only one question here. Please go through this. I'll give you about 90 seconds, or rather, actually, let me give you 2 minutes to go through this and solve and come up with an answer. Last 30 seconds. Okay, time is up. I've got one correct answer from Muskan Bano. The correct answer is option B. So let's see, how do we solve a question like this? So what do we have here? We have 5 people. So who are the 5 people? P, Q, R, S, T. No, not 5, 6 people and U. So this is one set of parameters. So this is basically called as a 3-parameter arrangement. So 3 parameter means 3-dimensional. So one dimension matlab one type of things are people. The second type of things is basically the subjects. The third type of things given to you are the places of their stay. So depending upon the type of things given, you can have a linear means only single type, or a 2-dimensional, basically people and places matching. In this case, people, places and subjects, 3 things to be matched. It's not very difficult. We have to just learn how to do it. So the best way to deal with these kind of questions is draw your grid like this: P, Q, R, S, T and U. So continue drawing another 6 like this. Now what are the subjects? Your subjects are English, then you have history, then you have philosophy, then you have physics, then stats and maths. Now we will simply use a tick and cross approach where somebody, if it is linked, because each person will take only one subject, that's what is given to us. So let's say, what are they saying? 2 of them stay, okay, the places of stay. So there are 2 hostels, 2 PGs and 2 homes. So the 6 people are arranged or are staying in, 2 of them in PGs, 2 of them in homes and 2 of them in your hostels. So now what else is given? R does not stay at a PG, so R is not staying in PG. So this is the approach that I take. So the third dimension, so I wrote 2 dimensions in my grid. The third dimension I will apply into wherever it is mentioned to me. So that's how I will use the third dimension. This is one of the ways in which you can solve 3-dimensional questions. Does not study PG and studies philosophy. So R is studying philosophy. So this is a tick mark, which means nobody else will have R. So R is not studying anything else. Also, philosophy is not studied by anybody else. So if R and philosophy are mapped, then nobody else can be taking philosophy and R cannot study anything else. So all those will be cross marks. So this is called as filling of the grid. The next thing is, so this part is done. Next part is the students studying statistics and history do not stay at PG. So stats and history do not stay at PG. So stats, where is stats? This is not a PG. And history, so this is not a PG. So please keep in mind, these 2 things do not, or people who are studying these 2 are not living in a PG. Okay, that is done. So this part is done. T and S studies physics. So T studies maths. So T and maths. Where are we? T and maths. Tick. So others are crosses. And S studies physics. So S is physics. This is tick. So others are crosses. Okay. U and S stays in a hostel. So U stays in hostel. And S also stays in hostel. Okay. Now what else is given? So U and S stays in a hostel. T stays at PG. So T stays at a PG. And Q stays as home. Now as of now, look at the people. Your 2 hostels are taken care because U is a hostel, S is a hostel. So both people staying in hostels we know. There are supposed to be 2 PGs. Only 1 PG we got. And there are 2 people remaining, P and R. But R cannot be a PG. Which means P has to be a PG. If P is a PG, your PG is also gone. So what else is remaining? Only home. So your R should be home. So you don't have to, you can straight away get this R as a home. So this way we will get our 2 PGs, 2 homes and 2 hostels. Now, what else is given? T stays at PG and Q stays at home. Now this information. Now let us see what else can we derive from this. So if we know that stats is not living in a PG, we know that stats is not living in a PG, which means stats cannot be P because P is living in PG. So stats is not taken by P. Similarly, history cannot be taken by P because P is living in PG, whereas the person taking history is not living in a PG. So you can see P, all of them are crosses. Only 1 tick mark is available for P. That has to be English. So this will be crosses. Clear? Once again, apply the same logic. You can see that you can see about stats and history. So these are the only 2 things which are left out. Okay, history and stats. So history and home. Okay, just write this. So English is PG. I'm writing who is what now. English is PG. Then physics. Physics is what? Physics is home. Because physics is this tick mark and this tick mark is R. So R is in home. Then what do I have? I have sorry, philosophy, that is not physics. This philosophy, physics is this tick mark, and tick mark is hostel. Okay. Then we have maths. Maths is PG, so this is PG. Okay. So then what else is left? The other thing left is we have a home left, and we have a hostel left. We have a home and we have a hostel left. Is there anything else which is missing for us? Let me read from the beginning. R does not stay at a PG and studies philosophy. The students studying statistics and history do not stay at PG. T studies mathematics and S studies physics. U stays in a hostel. In fact, we don't even need to solve anything more. So what are they asking? Which of the following combination of subjects and place of stay is not correct? You can straight away see English is PG. But here, English is given to you as a hostel. Straight away there you're getting your answer. You don't even have to solve it further. So certain questions, you will unnecessarily waste time if you don't look at what is asked. So if I keep trying to solve this, I'll get the answer of course, but I will spend another 30-40 seconds unnecessarily. If I look at what is required, I'll probably get my answer before solving the entire set. यार पूरा solve करने का extra marks तो कोई दे नहीं रहा है. So why should I spend my time solving everything? So my job is done. So my answer should be option number B. Now, there are two things which I want to tell you here. The first thing is how to solve. I wanted to explain to you there are multiple dimensions को handle कैसे करते हैं. That is done. The next thing which I want to talk to you before I move on to the next question is, in such type of questions, इतना सारा करके आपको क्या मिल रहा है? You are getting 1 mark or 1 question out of it. Had this been a set, had they said that, okay, there are questions 9 to 12, 3 questions you will get if you solve this one set, then it makes sense to spend 2 minutes. Otherwise, you're spending 2 minutes and there's no guarantee that you're going to get your answer also. So be very careful in such kind of questions. Single question and such amount of solving, always leave in the exam. I would recommend you to leave as a question in the exam, because it does not make sense reading so much, solving so much for getting 1 question correct. हाँ, अगर time बच गया, you can do this, but not when there are other questions to be solved. Okay, so let's move on. And now I'm back. I hope you can see me now. So let's look at question number 10. Find the statement that is true according to the given information. So let's take a look at what kind of questions come over here. So this is basically statement and conclusion kind of statement, kind of questions. This is logic, not much of English. This is actually more of logic here. Try to do this in 60 seconds. Read it and give me an answer. Okay, the correct answer happens to be option C. Let us understand why is it option C. Rahul and Ram study in the same class. Rahul has secured more marks than Ram. So Rahul got more marks than Ram. Okay. Ram's rank is 7th, which means Rahul can be 1 to 6 because Rahul got more marks, which means the rank number should be less than Ram. So 1 to 6 ranks it is possible to be for Rahul to get. That is the logic. Now let's look at which of the following statements is correct. Rahul stood first in the exam. Yeah, there's no guarantee Rahul is first. I'm just saying that Rahul got more than Ram. Nowhere is it given that Rahul is the best in the class. So clearly that is not necessarily true. Okay, it cannot be concluded. B, there is at least one student between Rahul and Ram. Why should there be one student if Rahul gets rank number 6 and Ram gets rank number 7? There's nobody in between. It is a possibility. Right? So, again, B may or may not be true. It is not necessarily correct. Okay? We are talking about which statement has to be correct. Then, if you look at C, there are at the most. So, here you are not saying exactly 5. They are saying maximum 5 students can be between Rahul and Ram. Now, if you want maximum students between them, then Ram is anyway fixed. Push Rahul to the extreme end. So, if Rahul is 1 and Ram is 7, there will be 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. 5 students between them. You cannot get more than 5 students between them. So, Rahul, if he is the first ranker and Ram is the 7th ranker, then there will be 5 people, and that is the maximum. That is what the statement says, maximum at the most. Hence, this is correct. If you look at D, Ram is 5 ranks lower than Rahul in the rank list. Yeah, there is no guarantee. Why should be Ram 5 ranks lower? If Rahul is 6, then Ram is next only. So, the D option may or may not be correct. But C is definitely correct. Because maximum karna hai, so maximum will be only 5. You can't have more than 5 people. That is your answer. That's your 10th question. 11 to 13, identify the next number in the series. This is a nice series-based questions now. These are all now pure logic-based questions. So try to get this. This is a simple question. 45 seconds is your time. Your time starts now. Okay, that's your 45 seconds. So let's see what is happening in this question. 100 to 99, the difference is 1. 99 to 96, the difference is 3. 96 to 91, the difference is 5. You can already see a pattern. 1, 3, 5, odd numbers. Let us see, is it correct? 91 to 84, 7. 84 to 75, 9. 75 to 64, 11. So clearly the pattern is the difference follows odd numbers. Therefore, the next difference should be 13. So 13 less than 64, which is 51, option A. This is pattern recognition. It's called as a number series. Okay, so that's your answer. Let's move on to the next question. This is a good question. Try this. This I'll give you 60 seconds. Your time starts now. Okay, so that's your 1 minute up. So here, it is not a single continuous series. There are 2 series in it. The first series is this, 5, 7, 10, 14, blank. The second series is 6, 8, 11, 15 and 20. The logic for both the series is same. The difference from 5 to 7 is 2, 7 to 10 is 3, 10 to 14 is 4. Similarly, 6 to 8 is 2, 8 to 11 is 3, 11 to 15 is 4, and 15 to 20 is 5. So the difference is increasing by 1, 1, but it is not a continuous series. There are two series in it. That's the catch in this question, which means this increase should also be 5. So 14 plus 5 is 19. So there are two series combined in this. That's what you need to understand in this. Okay? Very good. Next question again. This is also not a difficult question, it's quite easy. Very good, Gaurav and Anusha. So this is again quite easy. So this is into 2 plus 1. 2 into 2 plus 1 is 5. Again into 2, but this time plus 2. 5 into 2, 10. 10 plus 2 is 12. Again into 2 plus 3. So 12 2s are 24. 24 plus 3 is 27. Again into 2, but now this time plus 4. So you are increasing the addition by 1 1 every time, but multiplication is always by 2. That's the logic. So 27 2s are 54, plus 4 is 58. 58 into 2 is 116. 116 plus 5 should be 121. So the next one should be into 2 plus 6. So 121 into 2 is 242, plus 6 is 248. So that is your logic. Clear? Okay, next question. This is again a decent one. Try this out. I'll give you 60 seconds to go through this. Time starts now. Okay, that's 1 minute up. I haven't got any answers. I think all of you are stumped by this. This is quite easy. The only logic they are applying here is priest arrange them in the ascending order reverse. The letters are arranged in the ascending order but from the back. You can see E ke baad I aayega in this series. Okay, E, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Then after I, next is P. P, then Q, R, S, and then T. So these are arranged, the letters of the word priest, only these are used, but arranged in the ascending order or the other way around, descending order, whichever way you look at it. Left se right ascending hai, to right se left descending hoga, right? So that's the logic. So which means empire should come in the ascending order from right to left. So this way should be ascending. So E, I, M, P, R, U. This should be your answer, which is your option number C. Okay, last question for the day. Please try this. This is quite easy. 15-20 seconds, you should get the answer. Right, this I'm sure all of you will get the correct answer for this. Happiness and sorrow are antonyms. Basically, they're opposites. So conflict ka opposite kya hai? It is harmony. Harmony means all of you living happily together. All of you are amicable. Conflict basically is fight. So the opposite is harmony. So the correct answer is option number C. Okay, so friends, that brings us to the end of the session here. Please follow our sessions, attend our sessions, and do click on the like button. We are also launching these courses. If you are interested in joining these courses, do give us a call on the number mentioned over here. We'll be more than happy to assist you guys in your preparation. Thank you guys, and all the very best. I'll see you in the next one.